everybody. 안녕하세요. I hope I did that correctly. Thank you for attending the seminar. First, I'll tell a couple of words about myself. My name is Hans Koskonen. I come from Opto Fidelity. We're a Finnish company specializing in R&D testing. And I've been working with test automation several years, since '95, both for R&D test systems and also for production line systems. Mostly in the electronics industry, mobile phones, and such devices. And recently, with Opto Fidelity, we've been specializing more and more into testing touch sensors, touch-enabled devices, and also testing for device performance. There's my contact information in the email. I'll go briefly over a little bit of the topics of this presentation. So first of all, I'm going to show you a short video clip of touch testing automation using robotics. That will give a little bit of background of what type of systems we do for touch testing. Then I'll tell a little bit about Microsoft HCK hardware certification kit and what that is, and also things to do when automating that testing, because currently it's a pretty manual operation. I'll briefly introduce also Opto Fidelity, tell a little bit more about what we do, who we are, and also tell our solution and how it can be applied to the Microsoft HCK certification testing. And also a couple of words of our company and why we are a good partner should you need touch testing solutions. And after the presentation, please, if you have any questions, try to hold them off until the end of the presentation where we have the microphone and all the systems up and running. So first, I'll start off the video. I hope the technology doesn't fail me. We had a little bit of trouble with the audio, but I hope we fix that. Touch-enabled devices is the performance of the touch sensor itself. If the touch sensor performs poorly, using the product will not feel right, no matter how well the rest of it works. With a well-performing touch interface, the user will have much more enjoyable first-hand experience in using the product. Opto Fidelity Touch Panel Performance Test System is a turnkey solution for automatic measurement performance metrics from a touch panel. This system consists of accurate robotic movements combined with touch sensor actuation for 1, 2, and multiple fingers. The key feature of the system is a software package that executes the testing process accurately and consistently. All touch sensor activation is done automatically, including tap, swipe, zoom, and other gesturing. The system changes activation methods automatically, so the complete test process can be executed without operator interaction. Opto Fidelity Touch Panel Performance Test System can be used to test both paired touch sensors or touch performance with touch-enabled devices such as smartphones and tablets. For convenience, the test process is divided into separate sections for all the features that are tested. Different sections exist for single finger and multi-finger testing,
software is highly configurable via test parameters or with optional test application development tools. It is easy to perform quick tests with a small number of test points, as well as an extremely thorough test process with high test point count. The system features an interactive report that shows the measured values as well as the performance limits and provides pass-fail criteria for each test. The report is HTML-based and can also be accessed over the network. Test system includes opto-fidelity PIT for high accuracy measurement of touch latency directly from the touch controller chip run. I2C or SPI communication with the controller chip can be freely customized by a driver software that can be changed on the fly. So testing panels with virtually any controller chip can be supported. You can find out more information from Opto Fidelity website.
Okay, so that covered some of the technologies we have for test automation. And you can find the videos also on YouTube. We have a channel there. So let's get back to the actual presentation. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about Windows HCK. Is that, if it's unfamiliar for you. So what it is and why it's there. So Windows Hardware Certification Kit is a test framework made by Microsoft, developed by Microsoft to certify Windows devices to work with Windows operating system. And the HCK refers to the version 8 of Microsoft Windows. Previously it was called Windows Logo, which is for the version 7 systems. And the HCK currently covers notebooks, like laptop PCs, and panels or tablets, such as Surface. It doesn't currently cover the Windows Phone, but it's conceivable that it will be handled in a similar way in the near future. So Microsoft wants to qualify all the hardware to provide a consistent user experience for the users of Windows devices. It's a little bit similar to what Apple has, but because Apple is controlling also the hardware manufacturing, they have a lot easier job to make sure that all the devices work the same way and the users get the same kind of experience. So the Microsoft solution for that hardware variation problem is the logo or the HCK testing. So Microsoft certifies the devices. And the HCK testing also gives you confidence that your device is high performing and performing per a good user experience, a good performance level. Because the Microsoft is comparing these devices between different manufacturers. So why should I care? If I don't manufacture devices for Windows, or if the Windows devices is just a small percentage of the devices that I do, why should I care about the HCK? Well, Microsoft, first of all, for touch, Microsoft hardware certification requirement specification for touch, it's the first open specification for touch performance. So a lot of vendors, a lot of device manufacturers, they have their own way of testing for touch panel performance. But there's really no standard way of testing for linearity or testing for accuracy. All the test methods that we've seen, they're very similar, but they're not exactly the same. So you're going to get a little bit different results using a different test method. So that's why it's important that there's a specification that can be followed both by the vendor and the customer, so that they speak the same language. So that's one good reason to kind of be familiar with the Microsoft spec. The other thing is that Microsoft they invested heavily on the user studies, research on what are the key performance parameters of the touch to the end user. Because let's face it, we're all making things for the end user. So Microsoft has spent a lot of money studying this and kind of developing the specification based on that study. So, and now when it's open spec, we can all leverage on that. So we can all benefit from that research. And if you pass the Microsoft requirements, there's a good chance that you're going to pass some other customers' requirements also, because the requirements are pretty strict. So that's why even if you don't make Windows devices, or if you make, let's say, touch modules to devices that are not necessarily Windows, it's still a benefit to test for the Windows specification. Well, how do I test with the HCK? Well, Microsoft provides Windows Touch Test Lab services, which are a validation service for the hardware vendors, so that they can get the touch validation part of the HCK done by Microsoft. And basically this test lab service, they cover external devices like touchpads that you can plug into a USB, for example, or integrated touch devices like the Ultrabooks that have a touch integrated with a laptop device, or a tablet device like the Surface. And if you are in the business of making Windows devices, then you actually have to certify your devices by Microsoft. So currently you don't have any other choice. If you want to have the Windows certified sticker on your product, you'll have to send your unit to Microsoft. So Microsoft has these touch testing labs here in Taiwan and in the US. So the expected turnaround for that test is about 2 weeks currently. But they're obviously, I think that Microsoft is also expecting that the volumes to be a lot greater. So the 2 weeks might be extending 3 or 4 weeks. And the other thing is that when you send your device to be validated, Microsoft will tell you that this is validated or it's not validated. They're not going to tell you what's wrong with it. So if you just rely on the validation tests, you're going to have a lot more problem in figuring out what to do to pass that test. And then you're going to have a lot longer R&D cycle before you actually can achieve the certification. So that's where the pre-testing comes in. So Microsoft encourages you to pre-test your devices prior to submitting them to Microsoft to validate. So they're kind of hoping that the manufacturers test their products and are very certain that they will pass, so that Microsoft is just validating, okay, yeah, everything works and puts a stamp on it. They don't want to test units that fail, because they'll have a lot of units that will pass on the line. The current issue with the touch-related HCK test tooling is that it's mostly manual. So you need to have very well-trained operators to actually do the tests, because the tests are kind of complicated. And this is typically an issue. Then there's always the possibility of human error. So a lot of the tests are actually done several times, just to make sure that if you fail just once, it might be a human error, and then you might be able to pass and so forth. But you always have this uncertainty that, okay, did I execute the test correctly or not? And the bottom line is that it requires resources. It requires people to actually do the test. So that's always, that might be a problem also, especially because these people have to be very well trained, very familiar with the testing to be sure that when they're testing that the results are reliable. The other thing about the current HCK test tools are that they're designed just to do HCK testing. They're designed for that specific purpose. So you can't really use them for much other testing, even if you wanted to. Well, so that was pretty much the general picture of the HCK testing, why it's done, and why should we care. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the touch testing technology that we have and how it can be applied to the HCK testing also. So we've developed this touch and test platform that is a ready solution for implementing robot-based test solutions for different purposes for touch-enabled devices and also their touch panels. So we've implemented the commonly needed test features and the functionality that is typically needed when you're building a test case or a test sequence for touch module. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later. The platform is also multifunctional, so the touch performance testing is not the only thing that the platform is used for. So we have solutions that we built on top of the platform to also include device performance testing, like UI functional testing and the UI performance testing to measure end-to-end latencies, for example. Also with an integrated display and all the baseband and the CPUs and everything. So the platform is not just for measuring touch module performance. And the reason why we developed this platform is that if you use this platform instead of start developing your own, you can concentrate on making your products better and not building a test platform that's not really necessarily your core business. So the first thing, the main thing about the platform is obviously the robotics. So we are not a robot vendor. We typically don't manufacture the robots, but we try to use whatever is industrially available and fits that particular purpose. So that's why we can support a lot of different robot models. We can support desktop robots, we support SCARA type robots, Delta type, 6-axis. We do also make some custom robots every now and then. They have to be like a very harsh environment, operated inside a climate chamber, for example. There might not be a ready solution for that. Also, if there's a need for testing, say, 70-inch, very large touch displays, there might not be a robot available for that, or the robot may be, the purpose for that robot may be welding a car or something like that, so it could be like a huge block of metal instead of just a more simple, let's say, HCK. The thing that we do have developed is the activation part. So because we have to activate the product, so we've developed fingers, activation methods, 1 finger, 2 fingers, so you can make pinches and rings and the multi-finger units, finger changers so that you can change different type of fingers along the test process. So the purpose for our system is to automate the whole test so that you can just hit enter and leave it running for 3 days so that you don't have to be tying your resources to do the testing. We also do connector insertion and side button activation if your device, if you're testing device level, so you can automate those things also. Powering up the unit is the same. I mentioned already the gestures. So we have a software layer or driver that implements those gestures. So you don't have to worry about how to exactly drive the robot. You can just say, okay, tap there, make a swipe, do a pinch or zoom, rotate it around, do a hovering motion. It makes the test case or test sequence development much easier. One key aspect of the touch-enabled or touch module testing is the ability to actually position the DUT, the device under test, or the module under test. So we've developed these algorithms and procedures and tools that are camera-based, so that they're optically aligned the product with the robot, and you can build your test cases based on the coordinate system of the product and not have to worry about the robot. This also allows the introduction of testing several units with the same robot. Very easy to implement because we don't use the robot coordinates in the test scripts. So you can have several units and they can be subsequently tested in the sequence. And as I said, it's a camera-based, optically done, and it's very convenient, very quick. And you know, the easier it is, the less error there is. So that's pretty much the idea. Our customers have told us that compared to a manual alignment, they're seeing double the precision in the DUT position with our tooling when we're using the camera. And we also we can align for rotation and tilt and all that. With the device level testing, we can even automatically align to the screen of the device, which is actually on the Microsoft specification. They are talking about screen pixels, also with the touch sensor. So we can align the touch module itself, or the coordinates of the touch, with the display content. So we can display different icons and then say that, okay, we're at the center of that particular link, for example. Another key aspect, especially when you test with or testing touch modules, is the adaptation. So how do you adapt your product to the test system? We developed for sensor level testing, we've developed a PIT device, which is a programmable interfacing and timing device. That is a real-time controller unit that talks directly to the touch module controller chip, either via HCK, SPI, or USB. So we get very precise timestamps for all of the coordinate data that we receive. And we've also synchronized this with the robot. So we know when the robot is making a gesture, making a tap, and we get that information also into the same timeline with the reported coordinates. And we also get the interrupt signal from the panel itself. So we can tie all this in. We can measure latency. The driver itself runs inside the PIT device, but it can be uploaded at runtime, so it can be changed very easily. The driver is written in Python, so it's very easy to learn language. This is a common issue with a lot of the customers that we have, is that the controller chips change all the time. There's new firmware versions, there's new hardware versions. A lot of our customers want to work with different vendors, so they want to have support for Atmel, Cypress, what have you. So our system is designed to be very flexible in that sense. So we can virtually support any touch controller chip. If you can hook onto it with HCK or SPI, we can talk. major aspect also is the development tool chain. What to use, because typically the test, especially in R&D, the test needs are changing all the time. So there has to be a very flexible, modular way of building new test cases, making new test sequences. So we provide a very flexible, easy-to-learn test implementation tool chain, if you will, which is based on Python programming language. Python is very widely used, powerful. It's been around for a long time, so it's a very mature language, and we use that in almost all of the parts of our platform. So once you learn Python, then you can modify most of the parts on the system very easily. And we also include a reporting, analysis, and visualization part. Because many times, once you automate your test, you're going to get a lot of data. Very easy. You get thousands of points. So there has to be a way to evaluate that, to visualize the data, for somebody to look at it and say, okay, well, that looks good or that looks bad. So that's a very important aspect of the total complete system. So that was mostly about our touch testing platform itself. Now, how do we apply this to the HCK testing that I talked earlier? The first thing about HCK testing is that it's always device-led, because the touch testing lab will have to send a complete device, an end-user device, a tablet or a PC or a sensor pad. You're not sending a touch module to them. So the HCK testing itself is always device-led. But the HCK testing is based on the Microsoft specification and the requirements for the touch module. So you can use that specification and do those type of testing to your module prior to or before you actually integrate it with the product to make sure that your panel is working correctly. And then you can be more confident that, okay, once I package it up into the product, then it will be working very well also. So on the Microsoft requirement specification for touch, we have sensor linearity accuracy testing, 1, 2, 3 multi-finger testing test cases of the sequences, gestures, response latencies. The specification defines these things already. Now on the HCK testing, they're tested at device level in a specific way. But with a bare panels, touch panel module, you can do the same type of testing and have a reference results from there. So how to apply our platform to the device level HCK testing? Now this would be a product level. So generally speaking, there's 5 components on that when you're doing that test. So you have obviously an operator who's kind of like setting it up. There's an HCK server, which is provided by Microsoft. So once you sign up with the Microsoft development account, you can download these tools, install them into your IT department. There's a robot controller, which is a software interface to robotics. And you have the device under test, a panel or a tablet, the adaptation. So there's software running, Microsoft provides the software that's running on the product that adapts this product to the other parts of the testing. So what we provide is we provide the software suite, the tooling for making the positioning, for example, and we implement also the robot controller support so that the Microsoft server can talk to our robots And we also provide the robotics, the fingers, the multi-finger actuators, and things like that. So we provide the duty positioning, the gestures, robot control, touch input to the whole scheme of things. And these test selection is done by the HCK server, so that's the Microsoft provided tooling. Also test control, because the server is talking to the device under test. So that part is also provided by Microsoft. And also the test execution, which tests to run and when to store the results and so on. So in the device level test, we're providing these two bits to the complete picture. So when you test for the HCK requirements in a panel level, then we actually provide a little bit more into the complete test process. So here we're actually just using the Microsoft specification. So they're providing the specification of how to test. So we get the requirements, we implement what we call a TPPT, which is Touch Panel Performance Tester. So we provide the script, so we implement the test cases based on the Microsoft specification. We have the touch and test software suite and the robotics, and we also have either the PIT device to talk directly to the touch controller, or we provide a software agent that's running on your product that reports the touch events and coordinates it back to the system. So then we would provide also, in addition to what, on the previous slide, we've provided the test execution result analysis part to the whole testing software. This table kind of summarizes the features. This is actually the listed test items from the specification. And we've divided these into few sub-sequences, if you will. So we can cover all of the requirements with different tests. So basically, if you run all the test sequences, then you cover the everything. There's a couple of things that are not really, they're more question of, okay, is the firmware updatable? Well, it either is or it doesn't. So it's not tested by our test sequence itself. And also one thing about the touch testing lab and the manual HCK testing is that it doesn't really provide you with much information about the test itself. It doesn't provide you a lot of result data. So, and you need data for debugging and making your products, optimizing the product. So we provide the visualization methods and the tools for analyzing the results. So the tool will be more useful for you in that sense. Okay, so then why, if you are interested in the touch testing, why Fidelity would be a good partner for you in making the test cases, making the test solutions. Here's a little background of our touch testing or test automation solutions. So we started at 2005 with providing mostly custom-made test solutions for our customers in the electronic industry. In 2008, we started to be more and more involved in the robotic way of testing and testing touch sensors and touch panels. And then last year, we kind of packaged all this knowledge and this competence into the touch and test platform for more general purpose use. So here we were doing mostly custom-made solutions for specific customers. But the touch and test platform is a more generic, more general purpose platform. And also we feel, and this is actually a feedback from our customers, that we are the global leaders in providing this type of test systems. So there's not many companies that do this, and we certainly are in the leading edge of that. We also do provide performance testing, because some of the HCK tests are actually testing for UI performance more than the type of test. Opto Fidelity as a company, we are a growing expert engineering, high-tech company from Finland, and we specialize in test and measurement automation, vision systems, and engineering services. We also do provide services, test services. So we have a robot lab, we have a machine vision lab, so we can provide test results for your products also, if that's needed. We have a couple of patents also for display and user UI latency testing and video quality. Our team is very cross-functional, very large area of competence, so we have a lot of experience in machine vision imaging and the test and measurement automation technology, but also signal processing and software engineering, hardware engineering. So our team is very well equipped in providing a total solution for test automation. And we do have global project deliveries, so we have support networks. So over in the US, and then the Asian area, and in Korea, we have a partner company, HCK Corporation, Mr. Lee over there. And we do provide services also in parts of Taiwan, parts of China, so there's a support network available. So we provide deliveries, we provide training, operator training, development, engineer training, we support the systems locally, somebody that speaks a local language and so forth. So these are actually delivered systems to different customers. Okay, so that was pretty much all that I had on the slides. So if there are questions, I guess there's a microphone here. Or if you want, you can come up after the presentation. I'll be more than happy to talk with you guys. I have some, at least to get my business card. There's our website address. And also, if you want, I apologize, I had to upgrade my slides, so they're not the same that are on the flyer there. So if you want to have these upgraded ones, if you can give me your card, I can email it to you. Any questions?
I would like to English. I'm from HCK. I'm Young. I'm your solution. Your solution assumes that the brand cannot from your solution. I did. Does your solution work well in round?
Yeah, we have provided solutions for also 3D like I was saying. It depends a little bit on what type of, it's like a round type of thing, or is it just a slightly curved one. But there are solutions available for both. So for example, the 6-axis robot, using that as the platform, and then on top of that, we can also handle more than just the flat screen.
Also, you think that um, your solution was there different interface like HCK, USB, any other type of platform?
Um, yeah, so if we're talking to the touch controller chip, we can use either S2C, SPI, or USB. So those are the three.
So HCK only was HCK. I heard that.
Yeah, the HCK testing, when you're testing device level, it's only for the USB. Or if it's an integrated device, then you're not talking to specific interface. But if you test just the touch panel as a module, then we can integrate it with the S4 CSPI or USB.
Yes. So I work in the Dell. So I have to answer. Did you get some certification from Microsoft for the test machine and the test method?
Well, generally speaking, Microsoft does not endorse is not a good word. They're not certifying the test equipment themselves. So they're not, they don't provide a certification for the test system to be an official HCK tester. So they always want to have the final test will be done by Microsoft. That's the current situation. So they don't endorse the system and say, okay, this is something that if you test with this, then it will pass. They don't want to do that, at least not currently.
Okay. So, how many the percentage is equivalent to your test method at Microsoft? So if the using your test method and test, how much percentage? How much companies?
That's a very good question. Unfortunately, I don't have a number for that. That's very hard to say. We don't get that. We don't know that data.
Second question is, I think that there are around touch maker. So the lot of touch companies, they are needed to get the certification from Microsoft. So in the cases, the loading is so high in Microsoft, right? So, is there any plan to utilize third parties for the certification of Microsoft?
I really can't comment on that, but let's say that we can think of that as the Windows 8 came out fairly recently, and it's expected to kind of the use of that is expected to increase quite a bit. So it's conceivable that Microsoft does not have the resources, or they might not be planning on investing themselves into these testing labs. So it's a probable scenario that there will be a third party that will be Microsoft endorsed or Microsoft validated official certification lab. But currently it's not like that. So currently Microsoft is saying that they are doing the final validation themselves. All right, if there's no more questions, then I just say come down to that. Thank you.